All right, so we're under a mobile home like I have been many times, but I've been under houses too. And this one has a pretty good microcosm of what a mobile home insulation is trying to do. If you notice, this has been torn out by animals. This is, in this case, there's kind of a web mesh with plastic coating. And here's your plumbing, and here's your ductwork. So if you notice, this doesn't have insulation on the bottom here. It was intended not to have. Now, why would it have insulation over the top? If you have a difference in temperature from the inside and the outside of a piece of material, you'll have condensation. We don't want condensation up against the floor joist, and if it had a particle board, you'd probably learn real quick that's not a good idea to have moisture building up against the floor, the particle board. Also, we need heat radiating from this aluminum ductwork so that it stays inside this lowered area and it protects this kind of thing. Your supply lines for your water, this little bit of insulation is not going to protect it from a major freeze. It'll help, but it won't keep it. But guess what? Being it's in the same area, well, this radiates down and keeps this from freezing as easy, nowhere near as easy if we drop this and have just a little tiny bit. It's not much, it's like 1.5 inches of insulation. It's not even close to R19, so it's real low insulation. And if you notice here also, why would they be having this ductwork right here? Well, this ductwork runs from one end of the house to the other, straight as it can be. You can put a mirror inside here and look all the way down with a flashlight, or put a flashlight on the other end and take your hand mirror and you can see all the way down. That's how straight it is. But the bathroom was over there, so they needed to put some ductwork over there so the bathroom would not be blistering cold or blistering hot, depending on the weather. So that's what that is.
How do they do it on a double wide?
A double wide, they end up cutting out a section of this.
And it does something similar to this, but the pipe.
Loop over from one to the other. And you would use flexible if they're setting it up new, and then eventually you end up going to a metal hard ductwork and then run insulation on the outside of it, trying to keep it off the ground so it doesn't get moisture to it.
That's called a crossover, right?
That's a crossover ductwork, and usually that's directly underneath the heater, the central heat unit, which is usually inside. In this case, they ran a package. You took out the original heat and air central unit on the inside, which downdrafts into this ductwork, and they went from to a self-contained unit outside, ran ductwork in to the this ductwork here, which you can do, and then they had to get return air, and that's where the difficulty gets. You end up having to build an area so that it will pull from the main area, and that's the reason that mobile home doors are not all the way to the floor, because your return air goes in. If you don't have return air, it'll only blow up to a certain point, and then it won't be able to keep the air moving. So you have to have that return air, which sometimes there's a vent at the bottom of the doors of mobile homes, and a lot of times though they're just up off the floor, and you're like, why do they make the doors so high off the floor? It don't make any sense. Well, it's because that's your return air. So anyway, I thought I would let you guys know this is a good viewpoint of how a mobile home and the reasons that they did such a thing. The frames are usually about 3 foot from the outside wall, the main frames. Although this carries a lot of the weight, if that outside 2x6 that supports all these, or 2x10 or 2x8, 2x8, is rotted, this frame will not carry the weight of the house. It'll end up bending. The tongue will drag, which is on this end, and the back end will drag on the other side of the axles. So it's very important to maintain the siding of your house, because these frames are not enough by themselves to carry the weight, one on each side, about 8 foot apart. All right, that's me running on. We're going to be putting insulation in here to not only take it back to where it was, we're going to put R30, which is, you know, way bigger, 4 times more than what they put in from the factory. And we're going to putting it in where there is no insulation. So somebody before us put in R19, which is still more. You notice, see how thick this is, and then how thick this is. This is R19. We're going to be putting in 30. Quite a bit of improvement, one to the other. And this is why you would behoove you, if the animals pull down your underpinning and they get all your insulation down, you need to do this like what we're doing, and put up, you can put house wrap up, which is similar to this. It doesn't have the plastic in it, that Lowe's has it. They sell the DuPont, but the DuPont does not hold up as well as this web does that Lowe's has. So that's what we're doing today. Thought I'd let you know and give you, by way of visual, how and why I do things the way I do, and hopefully that'll help you do it for yourself. See ya.